one of the things you can use Classlink for is to access the files on your H drive from home or from a Chromebook or any other computer if you're not at school. And the way that you do that is by signing on to Classlink, and then the icons along the bottom, one of them says My Files. So I'm going to click on that, and that will bring you into the My Files area. You might initially see this Introducing Office Online screen, which I'll talk more about in a minute, but you can close that. But what you'll see is your H drive will appear. So if I double click on the H drive, I will start to see all of the different files that I have. There are a few different ways to open your files depending on your needs. And so the simplest way to open a file, and I'm just going to go into this folder and click on a Word document. The easiest way to open a file is to simply click on it and it will open in the Office Online version. So this is the online version of Microsoft Word, sometimes referred to as Office 365, and it's a more simplified version of Word. But for basic documents that you might need to access and edit, any changes you want to make, you can make those changes. And you'll notice up at the top it says saved to Classlink. So that's the good thing. You can be home, like I said, or anywhere else, any computer that you can sign on to Classlink with, get into your files to your H drive, make changes, and then those changes will save. So all you have to do is, like I said, make the changes. And once you close out, it will save automatically back to your H drive. So when you go back to work, those changes will be there as well. Now, one of the downsides to this option is you don't get all of the features of Microsoft Word. So again, if I click on it and it opens in the online version of Word, you can do all your basic edits and bold and italics and fonts and all that stuff. But for those that need some of the more advanced features, such as maybe tables, or even I know a lot of the math teachers who use the equation editor, that's a little trickier. So this is not generally the preferred way if your documents are a little more involved. So the other option, I'm going to close out of this one. So the other option is to right click on the file and choose Open on your device. This is a different option that will allow you to open the file in the full version of Microsoft Word, assuming that you're on a computer with the software. So you need to have that on your computer. So if I click Open on your device, it is going to prompt me to install something called the Download Classlink Agent. And this is required, but it's a one-time install. It's a very small program, really just takes a minute or so to get set up. And it's, like I said, only a one-time thing. So what you'll do is click Download Agent, and it will either prompt you um, or it'll just download, and you'll see it show up on the bottom left corner of your screen. So once it is downloaded, we are going to click on it and just kind of follow the prompts. It's pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to say next. I'm just going to click next again. I'm going to click next again. And now it's telling me installation is complete. So I am going to click on close. And it's now bringing me back to the download Classlink Agent screen. The second part to this is I will have to click on Verify Agent Installed just to make sure everything's working. So I'm going to click on that. It's going to verify, and it's prompting me to open. So I'm going to click Open. And you'll see down at the bottom here, it says verifying, and it did install correctly. So it's indicating that here. So great. So now I'm going to hit close. Now, in order for this to work where I can open this file in the full version of Microsoft Word, because I just installed something, I do have to log off and log on of Classlink. So I'm going to click on my profile icon. I'm going to sign out. All right. And then I'm going to put my username and password back in, and I'm going to sign back in. So it's just a way to refresh it. And now again, I'm going to go back down to the bottom and click on My Files. It's prompting me to open the Classlink agent again. So I'm going to click it. But before I do, I would check this little box so that you don't always have to click this. So I'm going to go ahead and click open. And again, I'm going to close this box. And if you don't want this box to keep showing up, which you don't need it to, just click don't show this again, and then just click the X. Okay, so I'm back to my H drive. I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go find that same file that I was looking at, and I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to go click on Open on your device. Now this is popping up again, even though I already installed the agent. It does say verify agent installed, and every so often this will come up again where it's just asking again to verify. So if you see it, just click it, verify agent installed. It looks good. I'm going to hit close. This won't always come up, but sometimes the first couple of times it might. So again, let me right click the file and say open on your device. And finally, we see the end result, which is it opens it up in the full version of Microsoft Word. So here's something we haven't been able to do before. So it's an interesting concept because, again, this file is on the H drive at school, and I might be at home doing this, and I'm able to go in, I'm able to edit the file. I'll replace something that I removed before, and it will save automatically back to the H drive. You have all the features of Word, and especially for any of you math or science teachers that use that equation editor, or any other features, you have it all. Everything is here. And once you're done, you can just close the file and just go ahead and click Save. Now that file has been saved. So that whole method, while that ClassLink agent setup does take a couple of minutes the first time around, once you have it and it's all ready to go, you won't have to do that every time. You would just find any file you want, and instead of clicking on it, you could just right click on it and say open on your device. And that's how you'll get it to open in the full version. All right, now keep in mind, you don't have to use the full version. If you forget about the right click and you just go ahead and click on it, it will still open your file in the online version of Word. And that version works pretty well. Like I said, it just doesn't have all those advanced bells and whistles, but it does have all the most common formatting options. All right. So again, just to recap, if you click on the file, it will open it in the online version of Word. If you right click on the file and say open on your device, it'll open in the full version of Word. But that does assume that you have that software installed on your computer. So you will need that in place. There is a third option which allows you to right click on a file and download it to your computer. And that certainly can be used. But if you choose to download this file to your computer and work on it, you're working on the downloaded copy. So that's not going to automatically update on the H drive. So that's why I wouldn't necessarily recommend that option. But for some of you, it definitely might be something to consider. Now, just a few other things to point out. I've been focusing on Word documents, but the other types of files that you might have in your H drive that include, images, PDFs, maybe some PowerPoints, maybe some Smart Notebook files, those are all able to be accessed just as easily. If I go back to my H drive, and I know I have some Smart Notebook files saved in here somewhere, I'm going to click on my Smart Notebook folder. And again, just like before, in order for me to open it in the full version of the software, I would have to right click on the file and then choose open on your device. So if I click on that, it should pop open in the full version of the Smart Notebook software. You will need to have the Smart Notebook software installed on your computer, and we can get you access to that from the district if you need. So just let me know if you need that information. So there it is in my Smart Notebook, and I'm in the full version, so I can work on it and make any changes I need to make. And then when I'm finished, I can just close out and save those changes. Overall, this should be a great approach for you to access files from anywhere other than school. If you're at school, we can go right to the H drive on our desktops. So stick with that. But this would be an alternative for when you're not in school and you want to get to your files. I hope this was helpful, and if you do have any questions, please reach out to me anytime.